We're going to go into competitive drills that create culture. I talked early, competition's kind of a lost art. You know, we've kind of lost sight of what competition's all about. A true story, I remember my daughter she was about 4 years old. She was playing soccer, and I guess the best way to put it was she was horrible. She was horrible, and you're going, she's 4. No, she didn't even follow the herd. You know, in soccer, you see like 8 kids kicking a ball, and they're kicking the heck out of each other, and you never see the ball, you just see the herd. My daughter was the kid, like, looking at the sky or picking things, and she was horrible. Even though the league never kept score, everybody was 100% sure that, and aware that team that she played on had not won a game the whole season. Not even close. And so we're playing this little game late, and my daughter was the one that was always tugging on the coach's arm, asking to be the goalie. And so, lo and behold, the last game of the season, I see her doing her thing, tugging on his arm, and I looked, and one of the moms goes, "We're gonna win this game." I thought we weren't keeping score. She goes, "No, we're gonna win this game. It's 8-6, we're gonna win. Or 8-7, we're gonna win." I said, that'll be good for the kids. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching my daughter, and all of a sudden the coach puts my daughter in at goalie, and I'm kind of going, don't do that. I don't care how much she's asking. She's the worst goalie in this. Don't let her do that. Well, sure enough, ball comes down, little boy's running down there, kicks the ball, trips, falls down. My daughter comes out of the goal, picks him up and starts talking to him as some other little renegade girl comes down, kicks the ball in the goal. And now it's 8-8, and the parents that are supposedly not keeping score are all going, oh my God, 8-8. Very next time down the field, she's caught up in some kind of cloud formation thing, and they kick and score, 9-8. And the mother that was bragging that we were finally going to win a game in 1 minute saw all of her dreams dashed. And I'm sure they were very important dreams. My daughter did what I thought she would do in the goalie, which is do nothing. And so I'm walking off, and I go up to talk to her about how proud I am that she played hard. And as I'm talking to her, I hear this truck backing up. And I'm not lying. A truck is backing up. I hear this beep, 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 and the truck stops. And the guy that ran the league gets out, and he goes, he stands up, and he goes, "People, I need your attention." And I look at this truck, and it's a truck full of trophies, full of trophies. He goes, "I need your attention." And he goes, we have some trophies here. And he looks at his sheet and he goes, Kylie Lingenfelter. And I thought, dear God, they have a least valuable player award in this league? This year's worst player, Kylie Lingenfelter. But I watched him as he unloaded 600 trophies. 600 trophies. Every single kid got a trophy. And I thought, wow, we're missing something here. I remember my first trophy ever. The first trophy I ever won was in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. It was a fishing derby. I still have that trophy because I earned it. And so you look, and we gotta earn things in practice, and we want to be competitive. So I'm going to open with a series of drills. And if you look at the second sheet, it says team drills. Culture is born of consistency, and consistently getting after it. We got to get after it. And so I'm going to show you some things. So the first drill, how many do I have here? 6, 9, 12. Oh, I got it lined. Okay. Give me half of you over here, half of you over here, but you're on the end line. Just go on the end line for right now. So the first drill is a drill called 32. And this is about defensive read and attack readiness. It is also probably the favorite drill of all of our teams, all of them. 32 is a simple drill, and this is where you're going to see my utter brilliance. Give me a left back, a middle back, and a right back on both sides. Left back, middle back, right back. Give me somebody waiting to come in, left back, middle back, right back on both sides. There you go. And give me some people over there. You're going to need somebody, whether you're a right back or not. There you go. Find a home. And fan out here a little. There you go. All right. And be ready to come in. So when you're ready to come in, you got it perfect here. If you're coming in the left back, just be right here. So slide over. If you're coming in right back, you got it. Middle backs are right behind. Slide over. And be ready to play. So don't be standing up. And so be ready to play. So the drill is called 32. I reference my utter brilliance. 3 players, 2 contacts. 32. And what it is you want to dig the ball into a hittable area, but I need hitters thinking about attacking, not bumping balls over. So it's a simple, I'm going to put a ball in play here. One of you will pass it, and the other's got to hit. There is no set in there, 2 contacts, fair? As soon as you guys hit the ball and it goes over the net, or as soon as you attack, you 3 filter off back to the end of your corresponding lines. New 3 come on immediately. You'll play, and you're playing to score, but regardless of what happens, ball goes, once you attack it, get out quick, next group comes in. So 32 looks like this. There you go. And everybody floods out. You guys flood out, go. You lost the point, go. Free ball entry, make it, take it. 2-0, go. We'll play to 5, it's 2-0. 2-1, get right there, everybody filters off, go. 3-1, go. 4-1, watch those balls, kick those out of there. 4-1, the last ball, 4-1. And there you go. And so all we're working on is getting guys to think about attacking the ball. You know, just attacking the ball with no fear. It's a game. It's a game. The more you screw up here, the better off we are. So we want to initiate gameplay. We want to initiate people being ready. We want to initiate bettering the ball. So the guy that plays the first ball has got to have a mindset where we're going to better the ball. Bettering the ball in volleyball is easy. Make it move towards the net. So move the ball forward. Hitter goes up and they're thinking attack. So here's what I know. Can you bump a ball over the net? Out of 10 times, if I just stood here, how many balls could you bump over?
Like
10. 10? If I threw 10 balls up in the air and had you jump and attack, how many of those balls can you hit over the net?
6, 7.
6 or 7. 10 out of 10, even in Indiana, is an A. 6 out of 10, even in Massachusetts, is an F. It is what it is. So how do we get better? We don't get better bumping balls over the net. You know, if you want to stay where you're at, just bump balls over the net. To get places we've never been, we have to do things we normally do. We got to challenge ourselves in uncomfortable ways. So I need you thinking attack. So, what's your name, sweetie? Veronica. If Veronica goes up and the ball's passed and Veronica hits a ball and it hits that champions banner, you're going to get this out of me. Good. Good, I love that swing. If Veronica bumps a ball over, I'm probably going to go, no. No, I know you can bump a ball. Even Veronica said that. I want to see you trying to do what you don't do. The only way to get it is this. And so it looks like this, right here. Ball go. Go, go, go. Beautiful, go real quick, go. And that's a perfect example. I'm good with that. I'm good with that because she swung. So from a coaching standpoint, the only thing I would say, and this thing jumped on you pretty quick, I'm very aware of the horrible chemical fire that took away everyone's voice. But I do believe in a divine intervention. I sure would like to hear your voices come back. So communicating is going to be critical. You only get two contacts, and my girl's still chemical fire. We got to talk, right? And so one of the reasons your kids don't talk, and you ever, that's the other thing, young coaches that say get low. You know the other thing you're going to say in a nauseating way? Talk. Why am I the only one talking? I've even had those conversations. You guys got to talk. And then one kid comes up, I'm going, you never shut up. Why are you going quiet on me now? Everybody else stop talking. Oh, that's good. That's really good reason to stop talking. Thank you. Thank you for not having my back. Talk. Here's the reason they don't talk. You ready? They don't know what the hell to say. They don't know what to say. They shouldn't be condemned. I shouldn't condemn her. I shouldn't scream at her because she's not talking if I haven't told her what to say. So here's what we're going to say. You ready? Every point has a story to tell. Your job to tell the story, though. How it ends, that depends on how good we are. But you got to tell the story. So as the ball's coming over, I've got to call mine. I got to call mine. That's part of the story. So it's called pre-pass, mine. Post-pass, I've got to be screaming cover, cover, cover because I can't pass it and hit it in this drill, right? I'm going cover, cover, cover. I got to tell the story of what my next move is. As a hitter, I also want to let her know what's your, was it?
My name?
Yeah.
Raleigh.
Raleigh, I like that name. So you're going mine, and then as you play it, I'm calling Raleigh's name and I'm calling cover. Because I'm not only going to call mine, but when we pepper, it's mine, Raleigh, mine, Mike, because I want some accountability. Because if I say mine, Raleigh, and I hit Kate, I now know that I suck. And I need to make sure there's accountability. And so mine, pre-pass, mine. Post-pass, Raleigh, cover, yeah? And then we just finish it out. But we just tell the story. What do you see? When the ball's coming over, what do we see? You know, and if it's coming right at you, call the ball and then help somebody else. Good players can take care of themselves. Great players learn to take care of others. So you ready? Let's try it out here. A lot of talk. You know, Raleigh, if you want to hit, do you want to hit?
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah. So what could you do to help that? Yeah. Set me, don't set her. Yeah? Yeah, just call for the ball. And if you're smart, what would you do? Because Raleigh's probably going to get, you know, she's going to get the lavish, she's going to eat better, you know how that goes. If Raleigh hits all the balls, that's all they're going to do is talk about Raleigh. So maybe I want to hit the ball. So if Raleigh says mine, she whispers it, I'm going to scream mine. She'll think you're a little bit psycho, but that's cool. And then you get the ball. But I need everybody talking. So engage, ready? Go.
Mine, Raleigh.
There you go. Cover would have helped me there. Let's go one more time. Go.
Mine.
That a girl, I like that.
Cover.
Go. Oh, there you go. I love that. Could you have bumped it over? Yes or no? I like that effort. I love that error. That is a good error. Go. There you go. That's all right. It happens sometimes. I love the fact that you had to get in position to hit. But the game's already improved. The game's already improved over here. So the first 5 points we played, really no balls returned. After we started talking, now the ball, we have a swing into the net, we have a ball returned, right? Energy. But you got to talk. And so when we don't talk, we don't know what to say. You know, and I've always told people, guys that talk are about you, they're about us. Guys that don't talk are about themselves. And so talking is critical. We start season, a crazy story, I start my season, my first practice is the day I get back, Monday. We will leave, we'll practice Monday and Tuesday, and then we go to the Dominican Republic to play against their Olympic team on 2 practices. Those 2 practices, I'm going to focus solely on communicating. It'd be nice to go to the Dominican and everybody know each other's names. And so we've got to talk. And so when you talk, and think about this when you're on the court, and players think about this. Players that talk are about us. They're about us, they're about everybody. Players that don't talk either, they aren't trained well enough, so they're scared to death. They're not ready for what you're asking them to do. So if you're quiet, you're really confirming the coach's suspicions that you're not ready to be on the floor. Is that fair? Secondly, maybe that girl is that girl. That if she makes an error, she doesn't want anybody around her and she just tells everybody to get away. And we got to deal with that as well. Or maybe they just can't play the game. I think that's why God invented cross country. You know, it is what it is. But we got to look at it. So if you're not talking, by not talking, you send an amazing message to coaches. You know, coaches will play guys they feel comfortable with. You're going to put people on the floor that you feel comfortable with, right? That's it. That's how it works. You know, if I don't feel comfortable with you on the floor, that means I've got some hesitation, and that hesitation is usually built by you not performing or communicating. So don't get erased from the lineup because you don't talk. Early 10th, you talk. I like your communication, you talk. And so I remember you. There's 15 kids, and I know you right now. And so that's what you want. You want coaches to remember that you showed up at practice. Sometimes if they can't see you, they got to hear you. I didn't say all coaches were brilliant. Prove it is a simple game, and so we play a game called Biggie Smalls. And I will talk about this a little bit later. We start every practice with about a 10-minute game. And it's never volleyball. It's never serve, pass, rotate. You know, if you want one hint from this clinic, don't ever start practice with anything that involves serve and pass. Don't do it. You'll just hurt your feelings. You will. You'll hurt your feelings and you'll end up in the Betty Ford Clinic. You will, because it won't work for you. It's just, and the Betty Ford Clinic is a drug rehab institute in the Midwest. So keep that in mind. I got it. I'm not in the Midwest. But think about it. Serve and pass are what drives you crazy in the game. Why start practice with that? It's like, hey, you know what, guys? We're going to enjoy practice today. We're going to start off by all getting a root canal. No, it's got to be pleasant. So everything's free ball entry. We always go free ball entry stuff. The only time I break away from that is we'll start with the game. So go 6v6, and I'll show you how the game works. I have a sneaking suspicion these guys are going to be pretty good. Ready? 6v6. Here we go. Pass that hit. Just play it out. If you win the point, you get the ball back. So it's free ball entry. I'm going to enter ball's freebie. And if you win, it's make it, take it. So if you score, you get the next ball back. You want to get 3 littles in a row, meaning 3 points in a row. And then we'll go from there. So it looks like this. This game is called Biggie Smalls. It's not on your list. This is a staple of what we do. So it's 1 small for these guys. Here you go. Go. Right there. There you go. There you go. Wait, there you go. So it's 1 small on this side. 2 small on this side. Here you go. This is a money ball. It's a money ball. So they're trying to get a score on this one to get 3 in a row. And hold right there. So Biggie Smalls is a simple entry game. You're trying to get 3 littles in a row to get 1 big point. So that's Biggie Smalls. That will be. You'll see that a little later in talks. This is called Prove It, and Prove It is about 3s and runs, same as Biggie Smalls. So runs of points. For me, I want to get 3 runs of 3 or more in a set. When I get 3 runs of 3 or more in a set, I tend to win a lot. Runs are those things that make you call timeouts. That's what they are. That's when the other team puts together consistent layering of points, and you know that it's that thing, either I make an adjustment or I figure out where we're eating dinner. It's that. But runs are what breaks people down. You know, those back and forth, you can stay in there forever. You know, the back and forth games, there's a lot of times I still have both timeouts at 20, and we're just trading points. But when you start to hemorrhage points, those are runs. So we want to practice getting runs. I know it breaks you, so I've got to practice it. Biggie Smalls is what you just saw. When one team gets 3 in a row, so let's say they had won that 3rd ball. In Biggie Smalls, that's a point. Prove It is the game I'm talking about right now. Prove It is Biggie Smalls on steroids, meaning they get 3 in a row. I now give them a ball to serve. If they can serve and prove it, they serve and they get their big point. If they don't, now they've got 1 in a row, and I just start kicking free balls in a row again. Does that make sense? And it's as simple, I mean, you've got, you know, all the time as coaches, we yell at kids for, you know, not being able to finish on a big point, but we need this point and they don't finish. We complain, we get mad about little things they don't do, but we haven't really taught them. We've told them, this is a big point. Good. How many times? It doesn't work that way. They have to understand how to do it. And I've got to physically let them do it over and over. I want you to learn how to get 3 in a row. I want you to understand getting 3 in a row is really important to us. And we open almost every practice with Biggie Smalls. Some late in the season I'll go with Prove It because I want to start really nailing down. Man, you're not getting this point. So if anybody ever got to 3 in a row, you know, then all of a sudden, you talk about kids understanding the inherent value of serving. You know, we're going 45 minutes into this thing with the team. We go back, we get 3 in a row, we go back to serve, and the little girl misses her serve. And every kid on the court is going, oh my God. And I'm kind of going, that's how I feel every night. That's how it feels. You know, because as a coach, it kills you. But we got to let them feel it for themselves. It can't be me telling stories. And so that's prove it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I am going to explain. I won't do that to you because you got to be here for 2 days. If this was the end of the second day, I would do it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If I look at you and say, this drill never shows up in my camps, then it tells you all you need to know. There is a guy that I really love named he's Camp Mike. Camp Mike is this guy, you would love him. He's kind of a rock star, he's kind, he's gentle, he's very warm, he's like everybody's grandpa. Coach Mike, I've even had kids come up to me and ask, can I talk to Mike, not Coach Mike? Stop it. Coach Mike is a little more bearing down. So Coach Mike started 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 several years ago. We've all been there. You've probably been in a match where you were at 14, 12, and all we got to do is, dear Lord, just 1 point. Let that girl miss a serve for once in her life. Or, boy, we just need to get this game, and all heck's going to break loose. We're going to become glorious. Yeah? I played in one of those tournaments where I needed 1 point. I just needed 1 point. And I felt like, I didn't think that the players really felt the same way. I just didn't think they understood the inherent value of 1 point. Because if you think about 1 point really is 2 points. It's one I get and one you don't. So it's really kind of a 2-point swing anytime there's a 1 point ball. So I thought, I got to make sure these clowns get it. And so I invented 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was out on my bike. I was riding that day 75 miles, so I had a lot of time to think. And I started thinking with kind of my evil mind, how can I make them get this? And so here's what we did. Both teams lined up on this sideline. Down and back equals 1. And so you had to run down, back 6 times. 6 times, and I'll give you these numbers. 6 times, and you had to do that in, 40 seconds. After we did 6 runs in 40, we played either free ball entry or serve. If you do a free ball entry, your kids will die. Sometimes I do free ball entry. But we did it off as a serve. And they just played a simple 5-point game, win by 1. And so let's say you won that 5-point game. Congratulations. You're now up 1-0. And then you all come to the sideline again. And now, instead of running 6 times, we go 7 times down and back. And you got to do that in 45 seconds. So it's 6 and 40, 7 and 45, 8 and 50, 9 and 55, 10 in a minute. We do 7 runs, and we come back, we play a 4-point game, and they get to serve this time. And let's say you guys win. Congrats. It's 1-1. We come back to the sideline, and we do 8 in 50 seconds. 6 and 40 is pretty easy. 7 and 45, not bad. 8 and 50, we start to weed people out. 9 and 55, CPR. 10 in a minute, a lot of hate. A lot of people not really thrilled with what I'm doing here. But the 10 is amazing, so a lot of times it goes this way. They'll win 2 games, they'll win 2 games. We do rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to serve. The 10th game, after you run the 10, it's a game to 1. It's a game to 1. And whoever wins the set. The other team does a consequence, usually a run, and you're just going great. But so the runs, the reason we did the runs was I needed them to be a little fatigued, but I wanted them to understand the inherent value of 1 point. That's why I don't win by 2 in those games. I want to win by 1. I don't want them to, I want to make sure that they understood it. Our guys really did understand the inherent value of 1 point after that. I mentioned the drill, and you'll see that kid that never likes to run, now all of a sudden, you get yeah, it happens. Low ball, I will explain. Low ball is a game, and it's something that I would start to evolve in with you guys. So we talked about us playing extremely fast. Low ball is a game where no ball in the game on either side can be higher than the antenna. If a ball goes above the antenna, so you set the high outside ball and your kid crushes it, that's cool, but the ball is too high, point for the other team. At any time that the ball creases the antenna, point for the other team. And usually it's me kicking balls, coach there, and the coach will just say, we'll blow a whistle if the ball's too high. And so our guys are learning we want to control and keep everything low and fast. And it's a very simple game. You guys can play, maybe you change it and say first ball has got to be this, or third ball has got to be this. Maybe you're working on speeding things up offensively. Tweak it. And you look, and we talked earlier about young kids, 12 and unders. Our 12 and unders play 32. They play 32 and they may enjoy it more than anybody. And you're going, well, our guys, no. Who cares how bad it looks? You know, that's one of the problems with coaching. We always want things to be aesthetically pleasing. That's not real. That's why as coaches, we stand and toss directly to the setter. Because I've never told a team in my life that we're going to win it all. We walked off the court in our last tournament, and I got them together. I said, guys, I've never been more excited in my life. And Kate will tell you, I toss around compliments like they're manhole covers. I'm not going to throw away a lot of compliments, but I looked at my team and said, you guys finally get it. I said, no one can beat you. We continue to do what we're doing. We're the best team in America. I said, this is over. I said, I can tell you right now, you commit, this is over, we win. And I said, I've never said that to a team in my life. 2 days later, they canceled the season. You know, and it was devastating. But I knew that this team had understood failure. They understood how to come back. They understood that failure wasn't fatal, but failure was a reason for success. No failure, no success. Read American Psychology Today. Your very own Harvard. Your very own Harvard is experiencing things they've never experienced. The biggest transfer rate and dropout rate in history is occurring right around now. Because for the first time ever, somebody comes in for the first time at Harvard, I write a paper, I hand it in, you look at it, and it comes back more red than white. More red than white. And people look at all the red, and they say, first time they've ever been deemed a failure. First time they've not been deemed successful. First time anybody's ever truly critiqued them. They take the red paper and leave. They leave. But they don't understand perseverance. They don't understand perseverance. Like I told you, the first time you do it, maybe you get 11. Who cares? You know what I know? 11's better than 0. But it's not 25. Don't dwell on 25. Dwell on the process. I want to get to 12. If I get to 12, I'm going to celebrate 12 like a mug. I'm going to go crazy. Understand perseverance. Without perseverance, we don't have success. And that's what failure does. So I want them to fail a ton. They'll fail in some of the runs. I won't lie. So they will fail in the runs. And I will celebrate a kid who finally makes it all the way through all 10 as much as I celebrate the gazelle that did it on day 1. But it's a brutal drill. You can do it at all levels. And if you look and go, Mike, how do I make it not as brutal? Add time to the runs. I can tell you 6 and 40 is pretty easy. 7 and 45 is really doable. It's 8, 9, and 10 that, and 10 will kill you. And think when I said free ball entry versus serve, the kid can go back there, bounce the ball 3 times, do whatever crazy ritual they have. And meanwhile, everybody else is breathing. Free ball, it's just me. And it's fast, and it gets them. But I think you could tweak those numbers a lot. Tweak the intent, maybe make it 3-2-1 and make the numbers less. You know, but change it a little bit that way. If I did 3-2-1, I'd make the score 12-12. And whoever won the big point there, got to 4 first or 3 first, I would give them 1 point. And I would work it that way. Just tweak it. Take everything and tweak it. The 12-year-old coach is the same as our 18-year-old coach. The only difference is how we enter the ball and the expectation. That's it. That's it. And so just change everything how you go about it. Tug of war is my favorite game that we play. Once again, utter brilliance. I'm going to let you guys serve. So one of you guys just drop back to serve. You guys are in serve receive over here. So before you serve, hold on. So the scoreboard right here, scoreboard is set at 10. If these guys score, the score goes down. If these guys score, the score goes up. These guys are trying to get the ball, get to 0. They're trying to get to 20. Hence tug of war. So go ahead. Scoreboard set on 10. Go ahead and play it out. Right here, serve over here. Scoreboard, they have 11 now. So go ahead. Serve, receive over here. They now have 12 over here. Serve. And I want to be rapid. I want to go as quick as possible. There you go. They're now at 13. And so you would play until one side gets to 20 or the other side gets to 0. What you're going to see is early on the inability of kids, it'll go 10, 9, 9, 10, 10, 9, 9, 10, 10, 9. You know, and there's a slight difference between momentum and no momentum. And we got to teach the ability to layer points. And so that's one way to teach that. And the team that can put together runs will always win that game. And right now they're in a great position, but you just keep moving. You tug up or you tug down, set the score at 10, and you work from there. Wipeout is a defensive mentality game. And it's competitive, and it sucks. Wipeout is very simple. We put a ball in play, and any ball that hits the floor without someone else touching it, you'll lose all your points. Now you could change it, you could lose back to a certain number or lose 1 point. Whatever you want to do, we play it. And so keep in mind in our gym, when this game was really a lot of fun, there was a little girl, if you watch the Big Ten Network that sets for Minnesota, named Mel Schaffmaster, about 6'5" setter, big, and throws balls down. So think about that kid in a game where if the ball hits the floor without anybody else touching it, you lose all your points. A set or dump is lethal in that game. The other thing that's lethal is when your kids don't cover. So if I block a ball and the ball falls to the floor and no one else touches it, you lose all your points. So anytime the ball goes to the floor without another person on your team touching it. And so what I'll tell our guys, the simplest way to play the game is block, touch a ball. The blocker needs to just fight like crazy to touch a ball. There's an idea. Instead of just running to the spot where the coach told you and jumping up and hoping to get hit, how about fight to touch a ball? Work to touch the ball. If the blocker touches it, whatever happens after that, we're cool. But the blocker's got to do their job. And so you focus on kids playing every ball. Touch a ball. Just touch the ball and get out of town, get out. And so Wipeout is a game where we just want to get that dig or die mentality. And so for you guys will hope sometimes to convey that in a finely worded speech, a heated comment in a practice. You know, we do that all the time. We look, you don't get it. You don't get it. It's my job to make sure you get it. You know, one of my coaches came in last year. He doesn't coach for us anymore either, Scott. So just so you know, that's kind of the other side of Coach Mike that we won't get into. I like this guy. He came to me and he said, Mike, you don't understand. I said, John, what don't I understand? He said, my setter sucks. Tends to happen on the 15-5s a little, but I said, John, you don't get it. You said, I don't get it. You don't get it. And he said, what do you mean? I said, your job is to make her unsuck. That's your job. I don't need you to report the news. I need you to make the news. You just can't come in here and indiscriminately tell me she sucks. And so I thought, John, you just don't understand it. He goes, I get it. 3 weeks later, he comes in. A parent had complained. I said, John, what are you doing? He said, she sucks. I said, your setter? He goes, no, my bro. I said, God, this is a really bad team. I said, your bro? He said, yeah. And I said, so what's the problem? I said, because this little girl's mom just complained to me that her daughter's not getting a fair chance. He goes, well, she'll never be my bro. I said, I said, don't say it that way. Don't say it that way. Your language is terminal. He said, what do you mean? I said, if I look at you and I say, you will never be my bro. Oh, what happens if these guys are all sick one day? You're probably gonna be my bro. Now I gotta come back and grovel. I was just tricking with the bro thing. You're now the bro. You know, I said, but he said, you don't get it. And I said, he goes, what do you say? I said, I base my bro on my best passer, not my best defender. That's how I do things. So my best passer is right here. You're the best defender, but you're not the best passer. If you can become the best passer, you can become my bro. But right now, you're not the bro, you're the two. But do you understand that? I said, yes. He said, well, we said the same thing. I said, no, we did not say the same thing. You were terminal. You were terminal. You know, and as a coach, we got to make sure that what we say is what we want, and we got to communicate these things. And so these things, you know, dig it, you know, you have to dig that ball. It's easy to say it. You have to go hard on every ball. It's easy to say it. You got to do things that layer that. If you want to watch good volleyball right now, Nebraska. Nebraska plays hard on every single point. As a coach, I don't know if they're the best team, but I do know this, they play harder than anybody in the country right now. And so when you ask what makes me tick, I want to play harder than anybody in the country. I opened the season by telling our team we're going to work harder than anybody in the United States. We practice 2 teams per court on 6 courts. So my first comment is, if we're going to work harder than anybody in the country, you damn well better work harder than the guys across the net. And if you can outwork those guys, you may want to look to court 2 and on down to 6. And then we got to get into the rest of the state and the rest of the region and then the country. We're going to work harder than anybody. I say it and I hold them to it every night. And working hard, it doesn't equate to championships, but it's a hell of a lot more pleasant as a coach. And so say it is one thing, make them feel it. These games all make them feel it. Wipeout in particular. Things I wrote on here, why compete? And we were talking a little bit in the break about it. It creates intensity. It creates intensity. You know, if we were playing basketball and we didn't have the clock, well, we just played until everybody died. You know, I had a group, we did this really brutal drill, ball control drill, and I would always count it down when we were getting close. We got to go 1 minute without air. You know, I always counted, I didn't think about it. You know, I started, you know, 5, 4, 3, and then they would screw up. Then we do it again, 5, 4, then they screw up. And then one of the little girls looked at me, she said, Mike, don't count it down. I said, what? She goes, don't do the clock. Don't do the clock. We don't want the clock. The clock is pressure. I said, so you don't want the clock? She said, no, because you have the clock, and when you start getting close, we panic, and then we have to run, then do the drill over. I said, all right. And she said, all right, go. And remember, the goal is 1 minute, but she told me we don't need the clock. So I stood there, and I'm watching, and she was right. They went 4 minutes and 42 seconds without a mistake. Ball finally hit the ground. These kids are totally exhausted. They looked at me, they said, we made it. I said, made what? They said, the time. I said, no. You didn't want the clock. You didn't want the clock. You said, I don't want the clock. I said, you need the clock to have a start and an end, but you didn't want the clock. They said, how long we go? I said, you went 4:42. That was beautiful, man. I love what you guys did. I said, inline. She said, what? I said, the ball hit the floor. Because if we don't use the clock, we got to have some barometer. So if the ball hits the floor ever, we just run, ever. So we could go 3 hours, but we're going to run if it ever hits the floor. She goes, can we have the clock back? I said, oh yeah, after you run, we'll bring the clock back. Good thinking. But it creates intensity. That drill, they're competing with my watch, but it's competing. Whether it's head-to-head, against your watch, against a number, you got to create a number. So if I looked at these guys and said, we need 15 balls back and forth over the net, they get to 13, 14, that 14th kid is handling the ball, they're a nervous wreck because they don't want to be the guy that screws it up. And you've been there. But we got to create that. That's how you learn. I don't think you learn laying on the couch. You got to turn the heat up a little bit. It creates intensity, and practice goes faster. Fosters accountability and sense of urgency. My boys, we do a drill, it's a brutal drill. It's called 30 before 3. You got to get 30 points passing. 3 is a perfect pass in this sense, would be right in that circle, right? A 2 is anything that's probably in that where I could set 2 hitters 10-footish. A 1 is the ball that's just up in the air where I could set 1 hitter. And then the 3 are aces. And my son was one of those guys. He came in and started doing some things when we were doing it with the girls. And there, you got a guy in there and he's in there with a couple other guys and they're practicing with the girls. There's no way in heck. He told me, there's no way, Dad, I'm going to be one of the 3. I'm going to get the 3rd ball. I cannot do it. And then about 3 weeks later, he said, my passing has improved so much because of the inherent pressure he was putting on himself to get better. And you got to have, you're either, like I said, you're either going or growing, but accountability and sense of urgency is important for you. And you got to move that along. Perfecting skills in a pressurized game-like environment. This is how the game feels. You know, every service draw I do, I try to create that 14-13 feel. Because anybody can serve a ball over the net, like we were talking here, when she said, I could bump 10 balls over the net. And that's cool, bump a ball over the net against a really good opponent and you're gonna eat it. You know, I need you to learn how to attack and I need it game-like. I know, like I said, know what wins, know what loses. Athletes are more engaged. They are more engaged when there's a scoreboard. I promise you that. I promise you, they're more engaged when there's a scoreboard involved. And oftentimes they're competing with the scoreboard, but not understanding they're the ones getting better. And I think you gotta do that. You need to teach the value of competing, winning, and losing. I'm just telling you, you need to teach that quality. My dad was this really neat man. One of the greatest things I ever remember about my dad. I grew up Roman Catholic. And my dad was this really special guy. He came in one night, it was about 11:15, and I don't know what stirred him. He came in, he woke me up. He said, Mike, and remember, 6 boys. He woke me up and said, Michael. I said, yeah, Dad. And I was probably 15. He said, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? And I'm kind of going, you woke me up to ask me what I want to be? Said, Dad, couldn't we do this at lunch? And I said, what do you mean, Dad? He said, what do you want to be? And I looked at him, I never will forget it. I looked at him and said, Dad, I want to be a priest. And he said, that's dumb. And he started to walk out of the room, and now I thought, dear God, you woke me up in the middle of the night to ask me what I want to be, and then you tell me I'm dumb? And all he said was this. He said, and if you're Catholic, you'll understand this right away. He looked and he said, why wouldn't you want to be the Pope? And I looked and I thought, wow. I thought about it. This is where I wanted to go, but this remained. And you got to give your kids those kind of opportunities. You know, why wouldn't you want more? And you got to teach them to want more. Teach them the value of competing. That was the greatest lesson in competing I ever got. And it was a simple 11 o'clock conversation with my dad. But you can teach those things. And you know, if you want to be a great coach, in the end, you want to have somebody like Kate come out here and say these things because you made them something different than what could have been. And you changed someone's world. And volleyball ends, for the most part, at a certain point in life, but success never goes away. And that's what you want to be a part of. You know, our place, Scott, we have all these banners hanging up. One of our owners, one of the guys that owns the company with me, wanted those banners up. It looks like Boston Gardens, and it makes me sick because I wish I could put a banner up for every kid that's gone beyond their norm, or every kid that's reached a dream that didn't think she could, or every kid that became something that they told themselves for 10 years they couldn't become. I wish those were the banners. I hate the banners, and I tell them that all the time. And the great majority of the banners are mine. I don't need the banners. I want to look at people and I want to make them better. Teach them how to compete and do it in a sane manner. That's it. You'll either teach them how to compete in a sane manner, or their parents will skew that horribly for them. You need to know that. You got to teach people how to compete and how to win and lose. Under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your training. So what I'm willing to accept is what I've got to be willing to accept. So if I'm okay with these guys walking, not talking, for lack of better words, half-assing it, then why would I expect anything different in a match? You know, coaches get upset in matches. You know why? Because the team is a direct reflection of their coach. And so now in practice, it's okay. I don't want to put 100% in. I'll just kind of go through the motions. But when these guys get out here and are getting their absolute butts whipped, now it's a direct reflection of me. Now it's on me. They can only see me. And the parents only see me. And the referee only sees me. The opposing coach only sees me. It's true. And this becomes extremely ego-oriented. So if you want to make sure that you don't get embarrassed when the lights come on, you better know the lines. If you're going to be Romeo or Juliet, you probably need to study a little. If you're going to be a rock or a tree, don't sweat it. But when the lights come on, you better know the lines. And the lines that they know are the ones you teach them day in and day out. Whatever you put in is coming out. So don't expect to plant potatoes and get tomatoes. Doesn't work that way. And we've got to make sure that we do that, because when it comes on, when you get on the stage, it is personal. And you want to develop relentless competitors. My greatest thing is competitors. You know, we were talking last night at dinner, and Kate had asked me about, we were talking about stories that we'd had with each other. And one time she called me from Missouri. She had been the bro the year before, but the next year they get a little hot shot in there. That's what you do as a college coach. You bring in people to turn up the heat. Kid comes in and she's threatening Kate, and Kate does not like it. Kate does not like it, and Kate called me. What do? I said, you whip her ass in everything. She said, what do you mean? I said, if you guys are released to go eat, you get to the lunch line first, you get your food first, you finish your food first, and you let her know it. You go to the bathroom, you go do your business, you get out there and let her know you got out of the bathroom before her. You go home, you go to bed, make sure you get there, you get in there, you wash first, you brush your teeth first, you get done, you let her know it. Then you go to the gym and you whip her ass again. She said, well, she called one of the assistants and they're going to come in early with them. I said, call the other assistant and have them come in before her. By the time she walks in, you're sweating. And she said, okay. I don't even know what ever happened to that little girl. I do know who played all 4 years and went on to play pro. I do know that. But you want to develop relentless competitors. And that's important to do, whether it's in life, as a mother, as a father, you got to learn how to compete. Cooperative versus competitive, combative. So understand this, I can make these guys cooperate and do a lot of things. I'm going to back this up, so I'll explain the drill. You guys, I'll go on this side. So I'm going to explain a couple drills. I'm going to add this one to it. So the drill I'm going to explain is called Brazilian warm-up, cooperative drill. The drills I'm talking about, so set or go, and I'll show it to you later, is a complex set or hit drill, but you're going to try to keep the ball in play forever. And then we will come back. The next game is combative. It's left versus left, and I'm trying to score 3 on you. I'm trying to score. This is a cooperative drill. So competitive, you've watched. Biggie Smalls is competitive. Prove It was competitive. Those are all competitive. This is a cooperative drill. Give me one line here, one line there, one line right over there. Single foul. Everybody ready to go. All right, it's called Brazilian warm-up. Simple drill. Ready? I'm going to throw a ball. One of you is going to play it. One of you is going to set it. The other is going to take the ball over. The only difference is, let's say you play the first ball. As soon as you play the first ball, you got to get your butt all the way over there, and ready to play, because she's going to, after you do it, she's setting the ball, right? You're going to set it to her. But as soon as you set it, you get over there. You're going to hit the ball over. You're hitting it to one of them. And then you will pass, set, and hit it back this way, because now that you guys are all gone, the new 3 come in. Let's go all platform or hands. Let's don't hit it right now. Let's just pass it. So it looks like this. Go. That's a bad start. Here we go right here. Play a ball. Who's got this ball? Ready? Go. Play it. Go. Get over. Get out of here. Go. Play it. Bring that ball back. There you go. Get out of there. There you go. Go. And hold right there. Give those guys a little hand there. I'm not foolish. I know when to stop. And so that drill starts with, maybe you do it with 12s, 10-foot line to 10-foot line, and they're doing all hands. Then maybe with these guys, we go all platform or hands, and then it evolves into hitting the ball, then it evolves into jumping and hitting the ball, and we grow. We just don't want to stay where we were yesterday. And we just want to get a little bit better. So you got a lot of movement, you got to hustle, and that drill, maybe we look, that was 1-2 times across the net. Maybe we look and our goal is 10 times across the net. We'll do it for 1.5 minutes. It's got to be 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes is a lot of contacts. But that's what I want, so 1.5 minutes. But that's guys that have played the ball forever. So that was 2, maybe their goal is 10. To the point where if they, we only got to 2, maybe tomorrow we get to 3. That's a cooperative drill. We all unify to be cooperative. Understand, each practice of mine will have cooperative and competitive drills. I had a parent ask me about a drill that we do, and it was basically I have to hit a ball at you. And they said, why would you ever teach kids to hit a ball at somebody? If I can't hit it at you, how in the hell am I ever going to hit it away from you? Yeah, I got to learn, I got to know, is she doing that by mistake? Can she make the ball go where she wants it to go? And so you want cooperative drills. That means I've got to be able to make a ball go right to a certain area. That's how we learn. And then add competitive behind it. This is a three-man drill. Maybe you go Brazilian warm-up, but then go straight into competitive 3-on-3 backcourt hitting. Maybe that's how you correlate the movement of 3 people on the court. Have a combative, have a cooperative. Ways to do things, time versus the clock. I will do the time. I will do times on certain drills. This is one I do time on. Early on, I would do numbers. You can do a lot of different things. And I said, you're either going versus a clock, you're versus a number, or versus an opponent. Biggie Smalls, and those 2 drills I just did, Brazilian warm-up is usually a verse that's about control and defensive movement. It is about a clock or numbers. Biggie Smalls was a drill I opened up with. That is an opponent. We're coming out, I got to beat you 3 times in a row to get 1 big point. But so you're either playing time or team. You're either playing numbers or teams. For these guys, that drill, 10 times back and forth. And I think that if we worked on it hard enough, by tomorrow we'd be in that neighborhood. And then once we get 10, I clap happily and I say, okay, we're going to go to 15. And then we get to 15, we go to 25. 25, we start hitting. And we just evolve. It's simple. Miscellaneous thoughts. I never have scrimmaged ever in my life. Never. We're going to the Dominican, and it'll be the first time in my life where people want to just play. I like having everything with a result, 3 runs, bonus points for blocking, but I never roll out a ball. It's never in practice, and Kate can tell you, we didn't just 6v6 serve, keep a score, 25 points. We don't do it, really. I want to intend it, and I want guided learning on everything. If I want to work on defense, I'm going to go Wipeout. If I want to work on speed, I'm going to go low ball where we're passing. But I'm always going to have a goal. We do a thing called hand-to-hand combat, so we're working on defending with our hands. If you defend the first ball with your hands, you get all 3 contacts. If you defend the first ball with your platform, the next ball's got to go over. Not penalizing your platform, I'm rewarding your hands. And so everything has, and I'm going to go through a bunch of those. Handicapping, which will come into play with you guys, whether you're a high school coach or whether you're a club coach, handicapping is important. We played a team several years ago in Canada. We handicapped matches. And so he looked at me and said, Mike, can we do a handicap for this free ball? He said, we can't play with you guys. I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, Roy, it's a game to 25. He goes, we have to play this game to 25 points. And he goes, can you spot us 22? I thought, are you serious? I said, 22. And I said, that's ridiculous. I said, sure. And then I went over and I told our guys, it was very simple. We win this or we're running. I'm not losing to this guy. He said, well, we spotted him 22. I said, well, that's his problem, not ours. But you got to learn to handicap. 1st to 10, I'm going to talk about this a lot. Competitive is important. In the first 10 minutes of practice, you got to compete. If you lose them in the first 10, and we'll talk about this in depth, you've lost them. If it comes out boring, it's going to go boring. You got to come out and win the party. This is a generation, by and large, that needs to be entertained. And you got to entertain. But I also think this, we all play, we love the game. We work and practice, we play the game. And so I got to take that work or that dental office feel out of it and make it, engaged. But the first 10 minutes, you've got to do something to get their attention. Finish strong. Nothing makes me sicker than hearing coaches talk about how their teams choke down the stretch or can never finish. If you know that you can't finish, do something about it, meaning practice it every day. I had a mom one time, and it was the year before I coached Kate. She said, "You're going to hate these kids." Thanks, that's a good start. It's a good start. I'm really excited for the year now. Thank you very much. She said, "You're going to hate them." I said, "Why am I going to hate them?" She said, they're a horrible morning team. They're just horrible in the mornings. I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, you're going to hate them. All their coaches have hated them." I said, "You're doing a lot for me." I said, "What about the morning?" She said, "We just start a good morning team." I said, "I'll tell you what we'll do." I said, "We'll get up every morning before we play. We'll get up at 5 o'clock on tournament day, and I'll take them through a workout, physical workout. We'll do calisthenics. We'll work. We'll have a good sweat going before we walk over to the hotel. I will whip their tails at 5 a.m. in the morning. We'll get to the gym at 7. We'll do it all over again." And she looked at me and she said, "Something tells me they're going to be a pretty good morning team." I said, "Yeah, we're going to be okay in the morning. We'll be okay in the morning." Kate can tell you probably the hardest practices we had were that 45 minutes from 7 to 7:45 on tournament day. We're not doing it. We got to practice what we want. Level adaptation, I said this earlier when we were talking about 12s. The entry, how you enter the ball is the complete difference. Like I said, we start with bumping it over. Maybe we start with setting inside the 10. Just adapt it. Take all the drills you see. A drill that Boston College is running can be adapted to do the same thing. I do a drill called, it's a flow drill. It's a simple catch and toss drill. In the same week, I did this catch and toss drill with 4-year-olds in our gym with big optic yellow balls, working on locomotor skills, catching and tossing. I went from that to doing it with my team. We did it, we were working 6v6. At the end of the week, I did it with the Canadian men's national team. Same drill, same exact drill, called the same thing. And so don't get stuck. If you want to learn, if you got a coach in your club that you really like, that you're going, "This guy's cutting edge," or "This woman's cutting edge," watch what they do, steal it and adapt it. Just adapt it. And that's a key. I mean, we harness our kids too much. Pace of entry, don't be slow entering the ball. If you watched when I was doing it, and it kind of caught them by surprise early. Reaction-wise, they're, whoa. I want to fire in a popcorn factory. The ball's got to be served every 8 seconds. You get 8 seconds to serve in a game, so I'm not going to give you more than what you're going to get in the game. We're going to enter the ball every 8 seconds. I want to enter it. I don't want to stop. I don't want to hold the ball. I hate the guys that throw the ball high in the air. Just get the ball in. Get the ball and get them better. Consequences, make them game-like. We talked about that a little. I do a lot of weird little things, not nearly as much as I used to. Kate. Coach on the fly, avoid stopping the drill. And most importantly, I think that you got to explain why you're doing the drill more now. I really do. I think you got to explain more now than you used to. We were a different breed in 70s, 80s, 90s. It was just a different animal. In those days, somebody would look, coach would go, go run through that wall and it'll make you a better player. And you're going, all right. And then you'd run into the wall, or chase this ball for 600 yards. Coach would launch a ball in an arena and you'd run as far as you could run to play it back up. We did it. Now kids are going, why are we doing this? And if you don't know why, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And so I think you got to explain why we do these things. Runs, I want to get runs of 3. Wipeout, I don't want to ever let the ball hit the floor without an effort. Because effort's really good. It's going to bother you as you get into this game. I want to explain to them why. Why are we doing this? And explain to them how it works. And I think that's important. I think it's very important. We'll come back in the afternoon setting and play again. And it's a little more, it's going to be a little more game-ish, but it's a little more about practice, how you set it up. There's some sheets that you're going to see. I will go over some things. If you look at your book during the break, there's a list of almost every competitive team drill I do. It's probably in the end of your book. You look over that over the next 2 days, and if you look at one going, what is this? I'll try my darndest to either demo it or explain it. I'd like you to look at that. There's some game charts, because a lot of this thing, I know a lot of you are young coaches, and I'm going to kind of break out how to manage a game. You know, I spent a whole day in Detroit explaining 3 talks on timeouts. Timeouts. There's a lot of game management stuff I think I can help you so you don't look stupid the first time. You know, I just watched a coach this weekend. It was in a boys tournament. And I was watching, and I'm sitting there watching, and I looked at the director was sitting next to me. I said, your coach is, how old is she? He looked, he said, I think she's 23. I said, wow. I said, she didn't even grow up with rollover minutes. He goes, what do you mean? I said, do you remember in the old days, if you didn't use all your minutes on your phone, they rolled over to the next month. That's how it worked. The first cell phones had rollover minutes. And if you were conservative with your minutes, you always had more, right? And he said, why'd you say that? And I said, because she's getting her ass beat 20-12 and has yet to call a timeout. So I think she's expecting she has 4 in the next set. You know, so game management's important, and we'll talk about that. But look over some of those sheets, because some of them are going to cause a lot of questions, you know, notes and things, and I'll answer whatever you got.